morning, everyone. Welcome to another Saturday morning live. I am very sorry. I thought I was a faster hiker than I was, but I am not. I was very slow. So that's the reason why we're a little late today.
It's all right. It's okay. It's okay. Like I
As you can
was
see, I'm still a mess.
granted, I like you did send me. We need to issue this correction. I need to issue a retract my statement. The porcelain figure did indeed send me a message saying if we could do it at 11. But she also sent it right next to a video of a parrot. My attention was completely focused
Yeah.
on parrot videos. And the other thing is that yesterday I was working on a diorama, until
Ooh.
probably like midnight in my garage because I was like, it's going to rain this weekend. I better get some play done, and I did, and it was awesome. But that said, hope you catch my Thready Water special where I did the unboxing for the entire Plastic Man Connect and Collect wave, which is just amazing. I honestly logged to McFarlane this week, and I, with the intention of canceling it, it's like I'm being irresponsible. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna cancel the wave, and then of course it was not in my account, and I was just like, oh no! And I checked my Instagram. Your order has shipped. I was just like, well,
I mean, he was fast because that's the thing. When you have to get to the point of I regret, McFarlane's already has it at your door.
Oh
He's
yeah.
like, can't regret no more.
Yeah, and the thing is that you will see why. You will see why I had that change of heart. I got this giant. And I will. I'll, it's also a McFarlane figure, but we'll talk about it a little bit later.
That's what you had a change of heart because you did do another purchase.
Yes, but anyways, if you didn't catch my live, definitely go back and check my page because my name is Mighty Max Toys, and you can find me on Instagram and at Mighty Max Toys. And then we also have Porcelain Piggy right here with us as our co-host. Make sure you go follow her Mr. Bones Adventures. Make sure you go follow her thrifting adventures because it is short of amazing. And I also want to give a very special shout out to our cousin who has revived his YouTube career and has been
Ooh.
uploading pictures, or not pictures, videos of him as a goalie because he plays soccer. He's always played soccer. I don't think he will ever stop playing soccer. And it is amazing. So definitely giving a shout out to our cousin. His YouTube channel will be linked in the description below because he's actually been. I gotta tell you, I normally don't watch whatever Ray kind of makes, but this one it is so organic, and I'm like, oh
You feel
no.
that the passion is there for the project.
Yeah,
So
last time.
you feel the equal amount of excitement that he does because there's a lot of heart put into this project.
Yeah, last time I caught myself watching it at the gym. And I was just like, wait a minute, like, oh, dude. And I watched the whole thing. It's called King Ray GK. And it's all about him and like missing or blocking goals and the camera angles he has. It's super cool. So just a bit of a plug there.
Because
But
he
other
is
than
a
that,
professional cameraman.
oh
So you
yeah,
won't get this interesting angles that we get over here. You'll actually get some pretty good angles because
yes,
that is his profession.
indeed. He is a professional cameraman. That's true. But that said, we do have an amazing show for you guys today. I didn't think that there was going to be all that much, but boy, was I wrong.
Now we've been kind of sorry, car speeding through because we know we live in the Fast and the Furious Valley. But yeah, no, there's been so much that has been taking a back seat because we've been so focused on the Battle Beast Madness tournament that came to an
Yeah.
end last Sunday. Boy, was that epic.
Oh, that was insane. But I gotta tell you, all right, so one of the things that did that car going through your through your neck of the woods right now made me maybe think, hey, is Porcelain Piggy in Long Beach right now? Because as you guys know, Long Beach is the site for the Grand Prix.
Oh, this weekend?
So the Grand Prix is happening. I love pronouncing it that way. It just sounds so good. The Grand Prix 49th in Long Beach is happening April 19th through the 21st, which is next
Oh, no.
weekend. Yeah, so if you guys want to go to the Acura Grand Prix in Long Beach, it's a really cool event. Uh, I definitely recommend it. It's a cool little event that is historic. Some of them is actually featured in some video games as well, which is really nice. So if you guys want to go to the Grand Prix, it will be happening next weekend. Get there early because parking is weird. And this is an amazing opportunity. If you're a car photographer, for example, oh, you want to be there because
Question, is it like you pay for stuff?
yes, you do pay for seats. Okay, so you do pay for the entry, but you can be there all day. Now, given the fact that California has been very like cool lately, it kind of bodes well for this because it may be a lot more pleasant than it normally is during the summer. You know?
Fingers crossed, because I know the weather here has been fluctuating from like super hot to like right now it's
Yeah,
super cold. So let's hope that it's nice and fresh for next weekend as well.
indeed. Now, let me go ahead and start sharing the slides because yes, we do have a lot to talk about, including Beast Madness. But let's go ahead and begin.
And guys, also tonight is the Frogtown prom. So if you guys are going, tag me in your photos. I'm so curious about your looks. I did not get tickets for it in time because I'm like, I don't even have an outfit to wear. Didn't have a dress for the prom. And so I was like, okay, even if I find one, I'll still need to find something for my date. And that's gonna take some time. So I said, okay, we're just gonna maybe hopefully they do it next year because I would love to dress up for it. So let me know if you guys are going and tell and like tag me because I want to see. I want to see what it's like.
Oh, I didn't even know it was happening, and we will talk about the Frogtown Crawl and your experience a little bit later down the show. But first and foremost, let us wrap up with a bow, right? This Beast Madness, which has been insane. You know, last year we had Toad competition, and that just brought all of the excitement to a fever pitch. But I didn't think it could be topped. But this topped it because we had Killer Carp on the show to help us like get hyped about it. You
And
know,
he created some amazing media for it. We got some like promotional videos that everybody was just like so hyped about. It really kept the vibe. We jumped into like a Beast Madness universe, and it was great. It was great. I always look forward to that in the end of March, beginning of April. It's one of the best times of the year.
yeah, and I was really happy to be part of it and to have Killer Carp, who's not going to be joining us today, but definitely want to thank him for showing up as much as he did,
I
right?
know.
Because it was just so amazing to have him in the show. And while I was in my Instagram live video, somebody showed up in the chat, and
Mhm.
that was Battle Beast Redux. And he's the person who's been behind the revival of Battle Beasts. And these toys are the same scale, the same sculpt, so they have the same soul. And I've been trying to get him to talk to us in the chat, and he said that he was definitely going to bring us some dates, and so we can talk about it. And
Ooh.
definitely going to be very interesting. Um,
Is he the one who has made like the snail?
yes, that's right.
Okay, because I've been keeping an eye, and I was like, I like the.
Yes. So I communicated today that it is my intent to get those beasts, the Redux beast, into the next Beast Madness. And I know that Killer Carp is going to be just no, no, no. Uh, but hopefully we can
We can do like a puppy bowl, like a pre bowl.
we can do we can work our magic, right? And whittle him down until he puts at least one back.
They're not laser beasts. They're not laser beasts, so they're welcome.
Exactly. They don't have lasers, so consequently, and it's for a good cause, right? Meaning
It could
you're
be like the pre tournament. It could be the pre
oh
tournament.
An
We can do like
exhibition
three.
match of sorts.
Yeah, it could be. Yes, we'll try to talk through everybody and see if we can get it going. If we can get it going, that'd be so fun. But I know it's a lot of work, and we don't want to put any more work in his plate because he provides such great quality of content as well. So maybe it could be a team up. Maybe we all can work together on this
Yeah,
one.
it's true. I mean, I feel like the next Speed Fans is going to be bigger because there's a lot more of an air of collaboration in the
There
world
sure
now.
is. Like the art that we're currently showing was made by Crystal Alexis. And telling you, Beast Madness inspires people to create art, to create all kinds of things. And honestly, Battle Beasts seems to be that property that just inspires you to create so
Mhm.
many new figures from it as well. Like we saw that awesome like ceramic
Yeah,
idol of
Sloth,
Sloth.
yeah. And getting the background story for that in our last show was really, really fun too.
And
So,
yes, yes. So we have Bambi Raptor saying that she congratulates Sloth, but she was rooting for Iggy.
okay, okay, Bambi, we are going to talk about that because I feel like that is the highlight of this year's victory. The How everybody at the end, despite the fact that Sloth won, became sympathetic with Iggy. Like I think that they were more people were more sorry that Iggy won than happy that Sloth won. It's such a weird thing, you
And can
know?
okay, so we were, I think, because we were all rooting for the underdogs on both sides of the brackets. By the time that they had to face each other, we had to really make a choice. We're like, is it going to be Icky or is it going to be Sloth? And for us, our friend group was really into Sloth's victory, and I was like, the a lot of the members of the Knot were supporting Sloth. So I'm like, I totally understand why. And there was also like a big group of other people who were okay, good. Do your taxes because it's almost the deadline. That's cutting it
Yeah,
really
deadline.
close.
Okay, yeah. Just friendly reminder: deadline for taxes is on Monday. So I got them done like a little earlier today, which is why I'm like, yay!
I did
You
mine
know,
last month, guys.
I know, I know. Portland Piggy does her like she files for 2025 today. You
See,
know.
I'm representing the responsibility of being a porcelain piggy bank, and therefore I have to do my taxes early.
Apparently, apparently, Bambi Raptor's also there. You know. But it's okay. Sometimes we just have a lot. I mean, this week we've had a lot to think about in terms of like how we're going to celebrate, where we're going to celebrate the win for Sloth. That has been like chief in my mind. Oh
Oh
yeah.
no. Okay, then you get to work. You get to work because we need to do that sloth branch, and I need to go to Staples to print some stuff for our
But
lunching as well. Our
but
branching.
here's the deal. Like I said, I think that the biggest upset was how much support there was for Icky, and how was this all of this has to be because of Icky Boy and
I
his
know.
relentless love for this beast.
Okay. And like he just also having the background that he was one of the first campaigners. He was the first person to run a campaign and Beast Madness too for Icky's victory, and that there was a competitor who was literally creating accounts that sat down with Icky. So I'm like, that was such a targeted attack.
And I don't think Icky quietly got to the final four, right? And then it was kind of like I felt like his love for Icky, his faith, if I will, was renewed, and he said, "Okay, guys, the pleas were from the heart,
They
and
were.
unfortunately, we had committed already to the sloth. So
And Crystal
definitely,
honestly says it best. She says she felt so bad for Iggy, but she had to be done.
you know what? It's crazy. It's really crazy, and we definitely feel for Icky. And I did um, message Icky Boy. I did go in and just like Triple H goes backstage and tells him, hey, like, you did a good job, don't worry about it. Like, I went backstage and I went and I said to Icky Boy, next year I got you. So it is
I
on
did
paper.
too. I put my alliances behind Icky Boy next year. So we're gonna be supporting Icky Iguana to the finals next year.
Yeah, next year that is it. And I have a bearded dragon. That bearded dragon is going to make several cameo appearances in promotional material. I am already thinking about it, and I'm telling you, Iki, don't worry. Heal your wounds, regrow your limbs, even though iguanas can't do that, but rap. Uh, we will be back. Okay, we will be back. But for
And let's
now,
hope.
let's go ahead and not enjoy the victory from Sloth, because this is a giant, it's a small step, it's a slow step for a sloth, but a slowest step for sloth kind. You know,
Yeah. Honestly, it was really made by all the voters that we got two underdogs to the finals. And then there was a lot of hardcore campaigning, not only from some members of the Knot from last year. I don't know what's that group of slots called? I forgot again.
sloth is probably a sleepy bunch.
Sleepy
A
Bunch.
cozy, a cozy.
But the group for slot support was all over the place. There were multiple accounts campaigning for slot, like creating some hardcore, yes, victory for slot, creating some hardcore like media that was
Oh my
shared.
god, it's called a snuggle.
So the snuggle of slots was working really hard to get this little critter to the top. Oh, you turned
So-
on call for emergency. It's a snuggle of sloth. That's so cute.
and oh my god, that's it. I'm done. This is so good. Oh yeah, you
So
were saying.
congratulations, Sloth. You got to the finals. This underdog slowly crawled up the competition. And honestly, the final battle was very scary.
Mhm.
Icky had the lead for most of it. It was
Yeah,
very tight. It was very tight, back and forth for hours on end. Honestly, the whole all of Sunday, all of last Sunday was very, very stress inducing.
it was. And we are Stardust Snuggles. Yes. Well, man, that is a very good name. But yeah, it was very stressful, like for a moment. And the thing is that a part of me just wanted to kind of sit back, relax, and enjoy the show, but I needed to cast my votes. I needed to play the part, and it was it was really fun, right? And what was most interesting also was the fact that even with all the campaigning behind Sloth, Iki was able to like muster just as much support to the point that, and I know that if Killer Carp is watching this, and he would probably just pop up with the just correct statistic, the correct number, but I can't remember it. I think there were like over 881 votes this time
Voters.
around,
Yeah. And
which
there
were
were
like,
over 1,000 views on his stories.
which
So I'm
is
like, you people who were watching, why weren't you voting? That's my question.
yeah, it's true. Which
How can
was
you just stand
insane.
by and watch?
But I gotta say, 200 out of 1,000 people, 800 votes. That's not bad.
Yeah.
That's not bad at all. But yeah, like it was unprecedented, and it seemed like in this Beast Madness, it was just like it was just one upping every match, one upping the other, right? And yeah, I felt very, very grateful to be part of it, to have Killer Carpet here, and to have enjoyed a ride with all of you guys. Because let's face it, it wouldn't be as fun if we didn't have you guys to talk to every single week about these things.
And honestly, if there wasn't such a like hardcore competition between the two of them, because if it was a landslide, if it would have been Sloth versus Shark, it would have been so boring because we would have seen like, oh, we know it's gonna be hard to beat Shark because Shark has such a strong following. But to see people that now are creating a connection with Icky and creating a connection with Sloth, it gives them better odds for next year as well.
Yeah. So like there's more eyes on other beasts, right? Which means that the bat may potentially have, people shift camps and go, you know what? The plight for Icky captured my heart. Sorry, bat. Now I'm in the Icky world, you know? Maybe somebody said, well, Pig drowned in his own blood. Now I'm going to make sure the pig wins
That
next.
was such a savage. savage battle.
Well, this
Pigs
is a shark. Like, what the heck do you think a shark is gonna do to a pig? Right?
That was so sad.
Hey, I have not gone through all. I'm telling you, I can novelize this thing. It's so freaking fun. But anyways, now all the beasts go into healing mode, back into their respective lands, I guess, in this beast madness world, right? They all kind of like travel and they go back to their tribes, and until next year, you know, which is very, very fun. But Battle Beast is not over. We will continue talking to Battle Beast Redux. We want to get some more, data on that, and probably we could even get Icky Boy in here just to, just to talk to him about,
Muster some support for next year,
exactly. So the next thing we're going to talk about, and I know you guys probably don't watch wrestling, but the fact of the matter is that wrestling is cool again, guys. Wrestling has become as popular as it probably was during the Attitude Era, Stone Cold, The Rock, and simultaneously with Beast Madness, you had the WWE WrestleMania. And I watched the event, and a lot of voting for Sloth went on during that watch party I held, strategic event. And at the end of the day, Cody Rhodes finished his story, baby.
It had been interrupted multiple times now.
Yes. But overall, Cody Rhodes finally finishing his story. It was an amazing watch. It was just, I was at the edge of my seat. I was jumping. I was like, yes. Even though like we kind of all knew it was going to happen, right? It was about that time. But still, they actually played it up super well. The celebration it had was very moving because Cody Rhodes was never this. When you and I were watching it, Cody Rhodes was there.
Yeah, but he wasn't he wasn't the focus of attention. He was starting out.
Yeah, he hadn't been there for a long time. It's just that
he was starting out to kind of get the attention of the crowd because he had been fighting for a long time, but he will be like those fights that are like in between, just time wasting, that you kind of go get a snack and come back.
Exactly. So basically, for all intent and purposes, he was not a top card, wrestler. He was a mid card or lower card even at some points. And the fact of the matter is that now, after he left WWE, went to ECW, went to the Indies, went to Japan, he built his own persona, his own American Nightmare, character, and that is now, as he says, undeniable. He went from undesirable to undeniable, and now he's the WWE undisputed champion. And I absolutely loved it, and I enjoyed every moment of it. And the cool thing is that because wrestling is cool, there's a lot of people in the community doing really cool stuff. And let me show you some of these. Okay?
All right.
I'm going to share the story by Pancheesy. Okay? And so, again, Pancheesy, he is just an amazing person. I absolutely love this guy. So, if you don't follow him, make sure you do. Very fun content. Very, just good feel content, which is super nice, and it's all about toys. Now, they created this thing, the Worldwide Brotherhood of Figure Photographers Wrestling Federation, which is based on the game. And all of these are all the actual like YouTubers that work in the podcast and outside of it. And yesterday they were having this event.
Athleticism from Congo.
The verticality.
That power nap he took really gave him a lot of energy.
That's it.
Oh, that's it. That's it for Punk
Oh my God! Oh no!
Oh,
Look, essentially saying, let's wrap this up. Let's do plugs and get out of here.
This is for the McFarlanes
Books.
watching Fabio to the door. And the winner with the
That's so good. So they like make themselves?
In the new game, you can you listen to the audio?
Yes, we could hear the audio. So I
Okay,
muted
cool.
it towards the end, but it was really pretty good commentary because
Yeah, it
settling
was
all.
just the pop, it was just like, yeah, let's go. In the new game, you can actually create your customized character just like we used to in the WWE No Mercy that I used to have. Remember for
Hacky Man.
yeah. So, but now they're doing like their own themselves in it, and every single week they have like wrestling shows after the podcast, and where they just sit and play. But it's everybody as their own player is so freaking
The
fun.
best.
And like I said, wrestling is back, and it's not back just in like, oh, you must watch the show, but it just expands now in terms of figures, in terms of games. People are picking it up a lot more and talking more about it. If you go to social media, there's going to be a lot of people who are going to be incorporating things that happen in the matches, music, catchphrases, right, events into the memes, into their social media, personality or presence, which it's super cool to see once again. So that is pretty much where I'm at with wrestling, and I am enjoying the heck out of it. And I know that this is not something you follow, but I gotta
But it's
tell
something
you,
I'm
there's going to
enjoying.
be a lot of different things coming out that you may
And
want
I do
to.
have a question. The diorama that you were working on, is it wrestling related?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because you have so many wrestlers now, and you have the ring.
I do have a ring, and for the watch party,
Mhm.
what I did was I actually put all my figures out, all the boxes. I put the ring in the middle of the table, and I put dipping sauces in it. I was like, it was full blown. It was really, really cool. But that said, let's talk about the frog time crawl. What happened, Chu?
So, because Toad couldn't make it to the finals, I decided to take him out on a stroll. This was initially I was just gonna go on my own, but Mighty Max suggested, he's like, "Why not take Toad?" I was like, you know what? What a best event for Toad to go to. So went ahead and headed out to like the
That
Silver Lake area.
from the older
Mhm.
brother, and that is from the other brother.
And
Reference to Crazy.
this area and there's called Frogtown. It's Frogtown, LA. And so we decided to do the flea crawl, and I ended up walking about 4 miles.
Whoa, that's a lot.
Yeah, so make sure that if you're gonna go, wear comfortable shoes because you're gonna be walking. The first and second spots are pretty much merged together. There is a restaurant, but then there's also the little pop-up tents where you can find a lot of like curated vintage items or retro and Y2K, which is not, it wasn't bad. The prices were pretty fair for a curated selection. They also had sections where you could get like custom made jewelry. There's also a lot of people who have their own brands that sell their own like altered clothing. You can also get a tattoo in there, so it was pretty popping. Then you walk down the path that parallels the LA River, and that really just makes it happen for you because I haven't really walked there in a very long time. And although you are recommended to park in Riverside Drive, if you are not gonna like go to the first stop, so you have some specific stops in mind, you can also kind of park like by the location where the restrooms are shown in the map because that is a
Uh-huh.
park. And from there, you can walk to stop number 3 and 4 and 5, and then you can always come back. I noticed a few people were doing that as well. And it was really nice because like there was restroom accessibility, the path was nice and clean. There were a lot of shops along the way, and a lot of people who live in the apartments near the LA River actually they do their yard sale at the same time. So you get some booths or some sellers that kind of were like, it's yard sale time too, because I know that there's going to be a lot more traffic going through.
That's really cool. Now, The LA River has been a area of constant um, efforts by the city to restore it, right? Because we know that the LA River used to be an actual bona fide river, but then the culverts, all the cement happened, and because you had the culverts, then everything just became a channel, a glorified channel that it's supports very little biodiversity. It destroyed the ecosystem. It does not provide any opportunity for water to percolate through the soil. So we lose a lot of our rainwater because so much cement is actually there. Because we should be getting all the water from the rain into the soil and into our water beds, but instead it just goes to the ocean. So
Yeah, and it's mainly for protecting the city as well because of there will be seasonal flooding prior to the pavement of the LA River, and also there was erosion alongside the sides of it. So to prevent erosion and to increase the maximize the space of the city is there one of the reasons that it was cemented, which is unfortunate for the biodiversity.
yeah, but one of the other things that we kind of underestimated what natural ways to kind of maintain it to find a balance. Now, of course, we're trying to restore it. So if you go higher towards the LA River, there are places where you can kayak. There are places where you can actually go take photographs, and apparently now it's fun to see it kind of like come down lower and lower and lower towards the ocean. With the frog time crawl, people are actually going there, and it's a lot cleaner now. The fact that you said the LA River is clean, I was just like, what? You know,
Like the areas around the LA River in well for the event was pretty clean, and it was encouraging people to kind of go near the area and have like a little picnic there, but always do clean up after yourselves, guys, because we do want to keep it clean. Don't throw anything down the river because it's already dirty on its own. We want to make sure we try to keep it as clean as possible. But I do like it that it's trying to include that there's like, hey, this is a river. We do want to keep this area clean. We do want to include it as part of our city. So I thought that was really nice because it really gives you a completely different vibe than when you just go to like a flea market and it's just like in the middle of the city, just surrounded by cement. But
and
it was a pretty good walk. I did not go all the way to stop 9 because that was like speed dating, and I was like, it's okay, I'm here for shopping. So once I
I ain't
finished,
shopping for a man.
I ain't shopping for no man. I'm shopping for some clothes. I got towed. I got my date for the day. We're walking around. There are a lot of like frog related things around that area, and it was really fun to kind of find them and photograph toad alongside them. um, One of the things that I really have like an itching to try again, it was, I think it's called the saltwater mochi, no, salted cow mochi. They had some really good mochi, and they sold out pretty quick. um,
Really?
so if you want like a nice walk and shopping, if you just want to have a whole Saturday event where you just like walk, chat, go to a cafe or a small restaurant, this is a pretty good place because you can do a nice long walk, literally 4 miles for me, and I didn't go all the way down to stop number 9. And
Hmm.
then you can just walk all the way back. Just wear comfortable shoes. Um, and be stay hydrated, get a hat, bring a hat because it was pretty sunny when I went. I did not have a hat. I was like, oh, I should have totally
And
brought
you have
one.
so many frog hats.
I know, but I had such a cute outfit. I don't think the hat kind of went with it, so I was like, it'll be all right. But no, it was really nice. Do wear comfortable shoes, comfortable clothes for walking, but everybody is dressed up really nice too, so it's like you get those Instagram outfit vibes. This is the location where you kind of
Ah,
like.
I see. Like, oh, cool, the new fashion type of deal. And LA's getting a lot of that now. In Japan, it's the norm, right? Like everybody uses every opportunity to go out to look extremely good. Couples matching everywhere, like down to socks, shoes, coats, even accessories. So it's cool to see LA kind of. I know it's always been there. Like I know the fashion in LA has always been there, but now because of social media, it's taken first place. It's like it's first row, and you can actually see it, and it's really really fun. Like to the point that I'm inspired to change my wardrobe, and my wife is constantly like, I think for the past 2 days, she's been wearing my dress shirts because oversized it's in, and I'm huge. She's small, so she wears everything. She's like, "Can I wear this?" I'm like, "Guess I'm not wearing it." So yeah, sure, why not? So
So
it's
you
really,
shop each other's closets. So that's also really fun.
she can shop in my closet. I can shop on her. I can't.
You can wear her
Nothing
hats.
on me. No. Oh yeah, maybe the hats. You're right. I do the hats.
See?
Now, also make sure that. Well, this is the
That
wrong
was
one.
last.
That was
Yeah.
last week. But if you did go, definitely let us know. Tag us. What did you find? We couldn't go. There was so much thing to do. But if you did go to the Pasadena City College Flea Market, let us know what you found. This week is the Rose Bowl Flea Market, and it's going to be raining. So
Yeah.
it's a little bit unfortunate, right? Especially because it's on a hill, so all the water is gonna come down like across all the booths. So check the weather
But if
before
you're,
you go.
yeah, if you're planning on going, prepare accordingly because even if you see the weather now and then, it will change.
Mhm.
So just make sure you're ready for the rain and you have things to protect your the goodies that you find. Mostly if you do end up picking up like paper goods or anything like that.
Indeed, and also make sure that you're dressed in comfortable shoes and waterproof shoes as well, because the Rose Bowl is on an incline, so all the water that falls on the top is going to river down. But the cool thing is that there is an actual creek that runs between that separates the parking lots. It's a kind of channel/creek, so that's going to be nice and roaring, which is freaking awesome. And Pasadena is always an amazing city for just coffee, cafecito. So the cafecito culture in Pasadena is live and well. Some places are very far from each other, but definitely you can find it. So if you say, you know what, I'm still in Pasadena and it's nice and cozy weather, check that out. Okay. And lastly, this is not this week, but next week, we also have the Grand Prix, like we said at the beginning of the show, in Long Beach. Now, I understand that some of you guys may not be a huge fan of racing, but my wife has now illuminated and she said, well, you don't have to like racing, but you can use the event as an excuse to dress accordingly and to create a new fashion. I'm like, I've been so blind for so many years.
And you have so many like car related fits.
I know so many Hot Wheel things, so many like checker pattern things. So I could just go, and I'm in Long Beach literally every day, so so it's kind of like a no brainer. I have to go. So I'll see if it's possible if it's in the card this week. Okay. Now let's talk Spawn. Okay. Okay, so you guys notice that I've been playing with the Electric Boogaloo Superman. It's really good. I love it. There's something so satisfying about it. There's something about McFarlane figures. There's also something about McFarlane vintage action figures. So there is this one thing that's been a bit of a grail, right, among toy photographers, and that is the Matrix diorama sets, the Matrix accessories, because the vintage McFarlane, the one that he released a long time ago, had an unprecedented amount of detail. And the cream of the crop, the top, the pinnacle, the apex was the staircase diorama. And it's been elusive. This is in the same realm as the kitchen from the Muppets that you found the accessories to, right?
Yes.
So I was casually browsing in Mercari and I put it up, let's see what comes up. And I found it and I bought it for a really good price. I bought it for $30.
That's not bad.
It's and then I expected it to be in like a pretty bad condition and it arrived this week.
That's why you were trying to cancel. Wow.
So this is the staircase diorama, and again, it is huge, right? When all completed, it should look like this.
Oh wow. That's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Yeah, it's super nice. I already have all of these like pillars with bullets in it. I've used them in photographs before. I already have all of these walls. So because again, they're very good for just toy photography. But I was missing this, and now I have it. But the thing is that it's in such pristine condition. It's dumb. I was just like, oh my god, there are some broken ones or missing a lot of the accessories that go for maybe double what I paid for this.
Oh wow. So now
And
you feel like you don't want to open it because this is such good condition. You didn't open one then.
yeah, but it's also really big, and like, what the heck am I gonna do with it? So I am going to slice and dice.
Oh,
Dice.
you know what? It has to be done. It has to be done.
So live on camera. I've been waiting to do this. I got it on Tuesday, I think.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So there. It's open.
There. It's no longer MID. It smells?
It's like just old,
Oh.
old air that's been sitting there for years.
That's so cool though. Because those stairs you can even use them as if like it's an extension of the X-Men mansion.
Yes, everybody uses them for X-Men Mansion, for Wayne Manor, right? And this is pretty much it.
That's really cool.
Yeah, and it is at a scale for like the 7-inch figures. It has look, it even has a floor, like a tile floor. It has the background there in the back. You can see it. This is very elaborate, like shield. Every sword is removable.
No way.
Yeah, so it's actually 1, 2, 3. There's 8 spears that are removable, and it has this maze that is actual metal,
Oh my
which
god.
is pretty wild. Yeah,
Mhm.
look at that. So yeah, and it's definitely plastic, but it's really well done. Typically, this little torch that the Viking guy is holding, it's broken, right? So this is a bit of a grail for toy photographers because everybody and their mother uses it as a diorama pieces of stairs. And stairs are actually very difficult to come by, right? The figures they have are static. They're pretty much statues, right? So
Mhm.
they're very useless. I will post them as they're intended. I will take the picture, and then I'll probably resell them. People do buy them, which is incredible. Like I sold all the figures or the diorama pieces I've had and kept only the diorama pieces, and people buy them, right? Because again, McFarlane has no trouble selling their like big stuff. So yeah. Oh, and this is like this bust right here in the back. You see like this.
Oh, I see the bust. Here,
Yeah.
let me put you solo.
Look at that.
And you have another bus too that we got with the Muppets set up. And then Bambi Raptor says that's such a cool diorama, Max, and she does open all her boxes too.
Yeah. But the air in there was very stinky.
No, Barbie also has a staircase diorama.
Hmm.
So it is from, I believe it's like a Christmas set, and it brings Barbie, Kelsey, Kelly, and her other sister, which I forget her name. And they're pretty much standing on stairs because they're supposed to be doing like a Christmas carol together. And I've been wanting to get those Barbie stairs because you always need stairs. Barbie houses do not come with stairs.
Yeah, it's true. Or if they do, the stairs are like super small.
Yeah, they're like lightly sculpted in there, but I was like, it's impossible to use them. That's why they always give Barbie like an elevator nowadays.
All right. So you guys, when we were growing up, we actually had available to us as just like a giant house. It was a mansion, really, that used to be a school, right across the street from where we used to live. And one of the things that always puzzled us is that in order to get from the quad into the terrace, we had to take the stairs. And the stairs are the narrowest stairs I have ever. I was a kid, and as a kid, they were narrow.
And they had no railing.
They had no railings, so we could
You had to crawl up them like a puppy.
Yeah, and it was so weird, dude. Like every time I see Barbie stairs, it reminds me of that. because
Yeah,
they
because
have no way.
they're unsafe stairs. They're out of place, but they do get you to the next level that you need to go to.
Yeah, and there is no way in heck these are like approved by the city inspector,
Nah, that's like homemade stairs.
which is ironic too because I felt like during the Barbie movie there was a architect Barbie or something. I'm like, architect Barbie, you're not doing a very good job. But anyways, now the reason why I bring Spawn here is because if you guys remember the Spawn funny card, which is something that Todd kind of bought at a whim in order to kind of promote Spawn, right? His little Hot Wheel is super popular. I happen to have one right here, right? It brings the little cover, and it brings a comic book, and it says Spawn Special Limited Edition Spawn Mobile Pack. Todd McFarlane from Image Comics, America's #1 comic book, Spawn Mobile. Spawn's is 1993, Todd McFarlane's production, Inc. It's a lot of words, right?
But it honestly is like him talking to you in paper form.
And what's crazy about it is that we got the Hot Wheel, we got this, yellowy 90s picture, but we never really talked about the car afterwards. And this week,
he dropped that.
Todd
And I
McFarlane,
love the way that he's using like his page as like, hey, I'm on eBay now. Buy my car.
Yeah, this is in Whatnot. So this is a Whatnot auction.
Oh my
Okay.
God.
And it already sold. It sold for $19,850, which is pretty cool for a, classic car. It's actually pretty cheap, I think.
Yeah.
Myself, And so the funny car is alive. People thought like, oh well, it was probably in a warehouse, or it was probably dismantled, or it was probably like donated or something. No, it was just been sitting on a Todd McFarlane storage site somewhere, and now it's here. It's out. And the number of videos that Todd has been making over the past week regarding his
car, I think hilarious. Because he's literally, come buy my car.
Come buy my car. Look at my car. Like this latest one.
Let me see. Okay, this is the yeah. It's so snug. But when I initially saw this on his Instagram, he's like, oh, you guys have been wondering about the McFarlane car. And then he kind of like the Spawn car, he kind of begins to walk around, and then he begins to like sell it to you. I was like, wait, is he actually selling this? That's the first I heard that he was actually selling the car.
I know. And it's so funny because he's so into it, In the video, he says, if I die, then all my comic books go to my wife. You can bug her. She has such a like cool outlook on life. He's like, oh, look at the paint. And I gotta say, it is a damn good condition.
It is.
Like that car looks new. Like it was just literally rolled off the paint shop. It was so crisp.
Yeah, it's been well taken care of. There's nowhere. For sure, it was in a warehouse somewhere because it doesn't seem to have been exposed to like the sun or the elements during all this time.
Yeah, like it probably was in a climate control place somewhere in like Nevada or Texas, and then he closes the hatch because funny cars are for racing, for drag racing, right? So they don't have doors. So the only way you get in is by lifting it or by going through the main hatch. The hatch is for emergencies, and it's a one-person.
Unsafe. It's so like you crash, you like impale yourself into those spikes.
I know, right? And by the way, spikes are not standard in a funny car, but it is apparently a Spawn car. Does
it actually drive though?
I'm not sure if it drives. I know it could possibly drive. Like I know it's just a paint job on a regular funny car. Like all funny cars look like this. So I'm sure it could drive because all the lights and all the things on the sides are just fake, right?
Yeah.
Nothing is real. The only thing that's real in the funny car is the engine and the 2 wheels and the 4 wheels. So like, I'm sure it drives, but whether or not it's in current driving condition, unknown. I'm sure that if you look at the description, we can read about it, but it's sold. It doesn't belong to Todd anymore. It belongs to a Todd super fan.
That is
And it's
wild.
currently in my
I-
garage. Let's go check it
I-
out.
Oh my gosh. I
Massive.
wonder if Todd would deliver it like in person to meet the new person, the new owner, or if he'll sign the car if requested.
Dude.
Or will he
What?
fill it up with action figures inside just for the heck of it?
Yeah. Oh, but that's something fake that they just put on it, like some machine guns on it.
So it comes with attachments. Even his
Yeah, it comes
cars
with attach-
come with accessories.
It comes with accessories. Yeah, multiple. I really hope that this, because of this video, right, and because of all of the publicity, I really hope that he releases one for his current Spawn car. Okay. Like for his current line, meaning like make another toy. I know we got one back in the day. It's a pretty
Mhm.
nice piece. I want a new one. I would buy it, and that's the thing that McFarlane has, man. He makes everything marketable, to the point that it makes it fun. And I'm like, oh yeah, I want that. You want why? Just because it's hilarious,
And
you
then
know.
this thing, again, he has a passion behind it. Just like, the cousin, his new videos, you can see the passion behind. This is the video I saw. How he's like, "Here, look at my car," and then he begins to walk around and begins to sell it to you. It's like you remember like those Sunday afternoon shows when like you kind of run out of cartoons to watch, and they're just selling you used cars at the dealers, like at a lot. That's what it felt like because I was like, wait a minute. Even like his accent, the way he talks about it. If you guys haven't gone to see this on his Instagram, I recommend you do because it does feel like they're selling you a used car like back in the 90s.
Yeah, it is incredibly entertaining. Like the way this guy just markets his stuff is like it's so entertaining, and getting an opportunity, right, for us to actually have so much description about the car. Because for years we heard nothing about it, and now we're hearing so much from Todd himself. This is one of those things that like I'm glad he did this while he's alive,
Yeah.
rather than like, oh, later on the car surfaces and like, oh, the Spawn thing just came out right here. Todd died 5 years ago. Like, no, like it's just him, and you can still kind of like put his essence, his joy into it because that's essentially what it seems like. It's hilarious.
He's having a really good time like sharing these pieces with collectors. I think like opening up like his new toy company made him not only more relevant or like made him see that his product is still relevant with collectors, and there's people who still care about those figures and
Yes.
about like the characters he created so long ago. So I think that just like inspired him more to kind of dig into all his old stuff. And it's like, let's push this out there because it's not really getting used out here, but I'm sure like a super fan would really enjoy it.
Yeah, and I feel like when it comes to toys, that's the bottom line. You need to enjoy these. You need to be like, yeah, hey, I enjoy this. This is something I love. This is something that I can't wait to just share. It's something to have fun, to bring a smile to your face, and that is it. So I'm really glad that is happening. I'm just very happy to see it. It brings a smile to my face.
Nice. I'm telling you, we live in a special time right now. We really
Yeah,
do.
we are. We are definitely living in a special time. Now, so special is that everything old is new. Everything cool that was cool in the 90s is cool again. Let's talk about it, shall we? Let's talk about the last topic today because I gotta tell you,
I've been,
I got some feelings to discuss.
I've been dreading this moment, but I think it needs to be done. So we are going to talk spoilers. We're not going to wait anymore. If you have not seen the X-Men 97, right?
Yes, 97.
On Disney Plus, we are going to go ahead and spoil it as we move forward because we got to talk about what's going on here. We got to talk about what's going on. So I just quickly picked up some random images so we can go ahead and talk about what's going on. The first episode is really nostalgic, and we get to see the team where they're doing where are they now, but it's still kind of like they're living in like the 80s, like late 80s, early 90s, because the fashion is still about the same.
They're living in 1997. That's why the title is that.
Oh, well, there you go. Well, but their fashion is really more 80s inspired than 97.
Yeah, there's a
Mostly
lot. There's a
in the
lot
Fast
less
and Furious.
denim jackets and denim pants and denim shirts and denim everything. For sure.
Yeah, so I feel like they're at least the clothing that they chose for him is a little bit more like 80s inspired. And you get to really enjoy the design of the characters and you begin to feel like, oh, I'm gonna be able to reconnect with them.
Uh
But then
huh.
the story moves so fast
Okay.
that there's no time for you to kind of have those warm, fuzzy feelings of like, hey, we're reconnecting. It's like, no, no, no. He's like, remember these characters that you really, really like? Now let's kind of introduce you to like their wild ride and like messy life that they're living now. It's
Because okay,
long.
and it's so funny. It's hilarious because I've been explaining this to my wife because my wife is loves the show, but she's like, "What?" And I tell her like, "Okay, the X first thing you need to know about X Men 101. Three rules. One, no one can be happy, right?
Yes,
Bottom line,
apparently.
nobody can be happy. Number two, the stories are a jumbled mess from years
Yes.
of multiple people writing in and rebooting and writing, and this leads to number three. X-Men equals time travel. Period. Okay.
And
X-Men
they do it
equals
so
time.
poorly.
X-Men equals time travel, and because of that, there is so many discrepancies. The characters are like here, there, and in between, and you don't know. And there's a certain charm to it. There's just a certain cool factor to it. I mean, in the '90s, that was so cool. Like you were like, "Oh my God, Cable is from the future!" Like, oh yes. But then once the effect kind of wears off, you're like, "Okay, you need to build a story that's actually solid." you
But
know,
yeah, and honestly, that made me realize one thing. It's like that's why I always confuse Cable and Bishop because they're both from the future.
indeed. Yeah, and
That's why I
like
was like, wait, I'm like, they're different, but I would always think that they'll be the same person.
yeah, the characters in the original series is just like, oh, I'm Guy from the future and I'm very threatening, and then Cable's like, I'm Guy from the future and I'm very threatening. It's like they literally were the same character. Yeah,
Yeah, I
I
was like,
get
you
you.
guys are both guys from the future, and you're both somehow related or close to Cyclops. So I'm confused.
But at the moment, like I said, X-Men '97, the first episode was super nostalgic, super fun. They made Cyclops cool again. Everything was established as
Yeah,
it should. Episode number two, where Madeline Pryor showed up, they exposed the mess, the absolute mess that it's Cyclops Jean relationship and everything they try to work with that because again, the Phoenix. But
yeah.
there's
And we did see, like in the episode one, they do show us that these are all filled with spoilers, so we are gonna say that Jean Grey is pregnant,
yeah,
and it's interesting because they're both taking over the role as like the leaders of the X-Men team.
mhm.
And whenever there's like any kind of threat, girls like in the front with her belly, I'm just like, wouldn't you want to be like a little bit more protective because you are pregnant? But she's like, no, I'm gonna get down. I'm about to get down.
You're just like holding the baby. I was like with the
Yeah, I was like, girl, like take a chill pill. You have a lot of other mutants here. You can kind of take a little bit of a step back because it looks like you're about to pop.
and pop she does. She has we see the birth of Alex Summers, aka Cable, and we all know that Cable is not gonna be with her parents, with Scott.
Well,
And
I didn't know that. So first time
no,
around, no,
no,
first time around this rodeo for me, I was just like, oh, it's like, oh, they had a baby, and all of a sudden they're like, oh, but look. At the end of the episode, where you're like, oh, Scott is very happy. They just had like the birth of the baby. The team's very close together.
rule number
Um,
one: they can't be happy.
they can't be happy. And then we're like, oh, I wonder how this is gonna affect the team because they were thinking about leaving the team since they were having a baby, creating a family, and they're afraid of whether the baby's gonna be mute. So there's a lot of like fears, and you begin to kind of create this connection. There's like, oh, I understand that they want to build a family. They are afraid of the future of their baby because they're living in a really like mean world that is like towards mutants. Um, So you kind of begin to like, okay, I'm creating some kind of connection with this relationship, when all of a sudden they're like, oh, random Jean comes out of the woods and she's all frazzled and she's not pregnant, and she's just like, oh, I'm passed out, and they do like a gene test on her, like some blood test,
There.
and they're like, this is true Jean, the one that just had a baby is also Jean, but one is newer Jean and the other one has, old blood. I mean, so she's the original one. That the one that actually had the baby was a
They
clone.
legitimate Beast legitimately carbon dates her. That's
Yeah,
literally what happens. Like, oh, the cells for this person are actually newer, but this other person has older. So like this person's technically like the real one.
yeah. So they like kind of turn to Cyclops and they're like, so you just had a baby with a clone?
I know this sucks. And
I
then they're
was
like,
like, what the hell?
and then Cyclops is like, well, I don't know. And suddenly you're like, okay, Cyclops, I love you, but Jesus Christ, you had a baby with a woman. Suddenly you're like, yeah, I don't
And
think I love
you
you
were building
anymore.
a future together. Yeah, they were like ready to like build a future, leave the team. And now he's like, well, my real Jean is laying there in the couch. I was like, excuse you?
I'm confused now. I'm like, no, there's nothing confusing about this.
I was like, Scott, please. And then all of a sudden they're like, okay, for Scott not to make a decision, we're gonna make clone evil.
Yeah,
So obviously, whenever you have a clone, they're gonna turn out evil.
you can't
And
have a
she
clone that's good.
no, you can't. So don't go around cloning yourself, people. You're always gonna end up in a bad situation.
Yep, you're gonna have with an evil brother, evil sister, evil clone.
Exactly. And so clone is evil. She does some weird, funky mutant magic stuff where she gives nightmares to people or something.
Yeah, she goes into their psyche and makes them believe that there's things, that these things can actually hurt them, right? But it's weird that she has like magic, but she's actually based on Jean, who doesn't have magic power. So it's just kind of like what? But okay, we'll let it fly.
Yeah, we'll skip on that. But like real Jean wakes up and then she's like, I'm gonna defeat clone Jean, and she saves everybody. Then clone Jean decides, I have to save my baby because apparently there was like another bad guy behind anything, the person who actually had cloned her, and he wanted to do something to the baby. Not sure what. Baby was just in a green tube.
Okay, so Mr. Sinister wants to expose one mutant, the one
Mhm.
mutant who has the highest chance of surviving this virus, this techno-organic virus. It's like, okay, you know what? You have genes. I'm gonna infect you with the virus, little baby. That is literally has just been born.
Like
He has
legit.
no defenses whatsoever. And you're like, okay, you're gonna be infected with this virus that there's no cure for in this time. And hopefully you can develop immunity. And from you, we can develop, a
A
vaccine for
cute.
everybody. I'm like, Sinister, who created this virus again? Like, and if you have the virus contained in one place, there's really no problem. Like, why? And then,
And obviously, like Scott and clone, evil clone Jean work together because they're like, we are a family. Let's go save our baby. And so they go save their baby. They break open this virus, and then Sinister tells them, "You've doomed the baby because now he is infected with the virus, and there's no cure." And they're like, "Oh no, what we do now?"
yeah, it's pretty bad parenting, choices there, because you would want to kind of see like, hey, what are you doing to my baby in the tank, Sinister?
Mhm.
At least give him the opportunity to explain, And I know that he's evil. I mean, he kidnapped Jean and kept her there for like maybe years.
Yeah.
We don't know. And so yeah, he's a pretty bad person, and he is infecting a newborn child, with a virus that nobody has any knowledge of. So yeah, he's pretty evil. So I get you, but now you have to give up your kid because you have to send them to the future, because rule number 3 about X-Men: time travel.
Okay, so the thing is, what they didn't have to. They were just like, "Oh, you don't know the cure," and like Sinister's like, "Peace out. I'm not gonna tell you because I don't know the cure."
Peace out.
Like, bye into the shadows. And so they're like, oh no, we doomed our baby. And now you see Scott and clone Jean be like, oh, we're parents concerned for our child's well-being. And they come up with this plan. There's like the only way we can save him is by sending him to the future, because most likely in the future there is a cure to whatever virus he has. And Scott gets upset because he says, "No, my son's not going to be born without his parents. I'm not going to be like my father," and walk out on him. He then immediately turns around and walks out
What's
on
out?
the baby and his
Yes.
friends, and the baby's mother.
I'm
So-
not gonna abandon my baby. Proceeds to abandon baby.
And goes towards real Jean just to get consoled.
Like, I gotta say, like, first episode paid Cyclops in an excellent light. Second episode is just like, dude, you're not cut out to be a father, like, at all.
Yeah.
You know?
And just remember that during all this time where, Cyclops was like fighting with his baby mama, and then they went and rescued their own baby from Sinister. During all this time, Jean was like in a recovery room flirting with Wolverine.
Yes, because Wolverine loves her, and we always know that it's been a thing. Wolverine has a crush on Jean, and he's always had a crush on Jean, even though he's like 100 years old. And I gotta say, like, Wolverine is a likable character. I don't hate Wolverine. I actually really like his character, but the fact of the matter is that this triangle was, to me, always seemed forced. The whole, like, it just to make, because since Cyclops was made the leader, Jean the lead female, and because the most popular character in X-Men is Wolverine, they needed to shoehorn him right in there, and so on, so that the triangle was born. Now, one of the things that this later episode, the last one, did was that it actually built Scott back and kind of detached him a little bit from Jean, where he says, "Whoa, Jean, true Jean, whoa, true Jean, like, you gotta figure it out. Do you like me, or do you think you like me? Because, like, right now, I kind of don't
Just
care."
have a baby with someone else, and then
And
can
I'm
go
like,
find
yeah. And I was just like, you know what? I respect that. Finally, Scott has
stands up for himself.
some sense and says, like, you know what? I can be completely happy without Jean. And that to me was just like, yes, please, thank you. I don't care who Jean ends up with. I do not care. Because ultimately, whoever Jean is with is going to be in trouble.
Yeah,
like,
they're gonna suffer because Jean's a mess. Jean is like a complete train wreck. And
Yeah.
if you're in a relationship with her, things are not gonna go well. And that's one of the things that like Scott's been experiencing year after year after year. So I'm kind of happy he stood up for himself. Because in the episode for last week, like not this past week, but the week before, they pretty much ended up with like, oh, let's make this triangle, let's force the triangle again. Because right now it's nice square.
it's a square. You're right. It's a square.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a square. So there's two Jeans and two men that love Jean. One already has a baby with clone Jean. Let's get real Jean, who just found out how much she really means, like brain telepathy stuff. Now she knows how much she really means to Wolverine. So, everybody gets their own Jean. That's how you fix the Jean problem. Everybody gets a Jean. Jean for you,
Yeah,
Jean
exactly.
for everybody.
Because
But,
Jean is so important. Jean is so important to the X-Men that you need to have as many Jeans as possible.
Pretty
I
much.
absolutely hate that.
And-
I think there are so many better characters. I think like Beast is so much more of an interesting character than Jean is. 100%.
Yes.
You know?
Yes. And so they're like, no, we need to force the square to be a triangle again. So let's make sure that Clone Jean decides, I gave birth, sent my baby to the future, became evil, became good, and now I'm peacing out. I don't want to be Jean.
Peace.
Yeah, she too just pieced out. Like, what was his face? Sinister?
Sinister.
Yes. And so she just decided to take a bus somewhere. And as she was hopping in the bus, she's like, guess what? My name's not Jean anymore.
Is Madeline.
Because like I have
Okay.
nothing to do with you. So I was forcibly created to be a Jean, but I even hate being a Jean. So my name is Madeline. Peace out.
No, there's something I want to point out about the. I don't know if it's intentional or it was just a fluke,
Okay.
but Madeline, right? It also that name Madeline also references, right? The effect of remembering something from your childhood, right? And because Madeline Pryor pretty much has all of these memories, but they don't belong to her, right? I think the name is fitting, and I don't know if it was intentional or so, right? If it was, it's awesome because it makes sense. Like, okay, yeah, like she is basically that effect of remembering everything that gives you a sense of like, yeah, I was alive back then, but then you weren't, which is really,
Yeah.
really cool. That's one thing I really like.
Because like that episode ended with them kind of looking at the photo book of like, so which Jean did Scott marry? Which Jean? We know who the mom is, so the baby.
Mhm.
There's no question about that. But it's like, who did he build up this entire relationship with?
Correct.
So
And I
it
feel like
brings
it's
that
interesting.
back to the forefront.
And then you have a throwaway episode, which is the Mojo, and it's a Jubilee centric episode in which Jubilee kind of showcase their powers, and they talk to Suns, and Sunspot finally shows its solar power type of deal. They fight against Mojo in a virtual reality type of games are real, and if you die here, you die in real life type of thing. Pretty cool, nice, entertaining episode, but it doesn't really build
It
anything.
really didn't belong because you're like, oh, we were left in such a heavy tone from the last episode. We're like, okay, how are these crazy kids gonna figure out the relationship now? And they're like, they're not. We're gonna go ahead and introduce this character that they were rescuing in the very first episode, which is Sunspot. And now he's gonna be building a relationship with Jubilee. There's like, here's a new couple that doesn't have any drama because they just met. But
I
guess
know.
what? You end up meeting old Jubilee in that video game.
Because again, step number 3, time travel is a thing. You
Mhm.
always have different versions of everybody. So the one thing they had that was kind of good but very short, and in my opinion, it should have been the entire episode, the Storm and Forge arc. You know,
Yes.
that had a lot more legs, and it was a shame that it was cut because Forge and Storm are a couple. They fall in love, they kiss. We have the cover, and it's awesome. It's a pretty cool um, story in which the romance breaks after she finds out that the technology that removed her powers was actually made by him. Under different conditions, of course,
Yeah.
but
And what we didn't mention was that in the previous episode, in between, so like in between the Scott drama, they were trying to figure out who was receiving the inheritance that Professor X left, which was the mansion and the X-Men. And apparently he left it to Magneto. So Magneto had also made his appearance into the show. But
Mhm.
because even though you're Magneto and you want to be good now, you've also done a lot of crime against humans.
Oh, Grant.
You
But
need to
he's
pay dearly for your crimes, as Harvey Birdman did state. Well, not him, but somebody in the stands in the show did state, pay dearly for your crimes. And so he was put to trial, and he was the target
Mhm.
by this anti-mutant group to have his powers pretty much removed with this one blast. And
Yeah,
unfortunately, the person who got hit by this blast was Storm, and it had been mentioned throughout that she is the closest thing to like a goddess because of her connection to the elements.
and now no more because technology.
Because technology, and this brings us to something that's kind of upsetting to me because we have Magneto in the forefront now. You
Yeah,
see, Magneto looks big old man. He does not look like the design of Magneto here is not of a handsome guy.
I
Yeah,
think
he
it.
has
I
a
think it
lion,
looks good.
but I don't know. There's just something about him that they're like, look, he is evil. He has evil face. Like they've made him directly with evil face. There's no
He's
charm in
got a
that.
lot of crime.
Like he does have good features, but he just has evil face, and there's nothing he
Yeah,
can
yeah.
do.
Okay, I can see that. Okay, so he looks attractive, but he does have the evil face. That don't trust me, I'm evil face.
Exactly. I'm like, you obviously see him. I was like, there's no trust. But if you see in that little photo in the bottom with the team in the background, his eyes are peeking out to one side. And the one female figure we see there is one of my favorite female figures in X-Men, and that is Rogue.
Yes.
And I don't understand why is there a romantic history between her and Magneto when she has a man candy Gambit interested in her like all the time. Like we can all agree the Gambit does not have evil face.
No, he
We can
doesn't.
all agree that Gambit is hella charming,
Yes.
and any girl that will be swayed by Gambit.
Yeah.
I will be
Gambit,
lucky enough to have his attention.
Gambit is one of those characters that was created later on, right, for the show, and it was a slam dunk. It was created with that trench coat, blue, pink, and it was as if all the gods of creativity came together and just it's so perfect. It works so well. An instant classic.
Yes. And the character itself, his attitude is so charming. He's so nice. And it's just, that he's deeply in love with Rogue. Although their romance just can't happen because of her powers. They can never kiss, they cannot touch because or else she will hurt him. But apparently, there's only one person that can touch her.
Yes. And that is Magneto, the ultimate alpha guy.
Gross. Gross. I just can't. I just can't. And this week's episode, I haven't seen it yet, but you may
Oh my
spoil it.
god, no, you haven't seen the episode? Get out of here. Get out of here.
You may spoil it for me because
No,
I am gonna
no, I
watch
won't.
it, but I want to be prepared.
I won't. Get out of here. No, we are ending the show right now. This is it. I thought you had watched it. I was ready to get into it. I had my tissues right here.
No.
But clearly that's not the case. This man cried yesterday.
Oh my.
I was dude, I don't cry on the Bad Batch like you do. I don't
I
cry.
see.
And I've been watching the Bad Batch, by the way. I have. Like I've been catching up. So
Nice.
I don't cry through the Bad Batch yet. And I didn't cry at all with Clone Wars.
How dare you? You have no soul.
But here's the deal. Yesterday I did shed tears. I couldn't help it. And I was just like, what the what the hell just happened? Like, why? Like, why does this happen? And it was, I think it's just a connection to the show. And
Scared.
all like if they bring it like this episode really like kind of also explains why they needed to speed up the Scott Madeline thing. They're like, okay. Afterwards, I was just like, you know what? I'm glad they kind of sped that up to the point that they are to like they give you a cliff
Because
note
that
version.
could have yeah, we really did get a Cliff Notes version because that could have been like in the old series, it would have been like an entire season.
Yes, it would have been an entire season, and it would have been a season full of filler. And what happens is that we all know the story, or at least all the comic book readers know the story, and they know that you know what's how it's going to end. But in the middle, between the beginning of the saga and the end, there's really nothing that much that happens that of substance to those characters. We're just kind of waiting with bated breath, and it's like, will they, won't they, will they, won't they? Where's Wolverine? Will they, won't they? Where's Wolverine? Well, so like, I'm just happy that they just sped through that, and they're like, okay, there's Madeline's right there, Jean's right there, Scott's right here, and Wolverine right there. Done. Call it a day. And I felt really like happy that we can just move past that and into something new. And in this new episode that you're going to see, they actually fuse concepts from the run of Powers of X, which is a very interesting thing, right? Over there in the comic books, they do Krakoa, the island nation of Krakoa. Now they bring that structure into Genosha, right?
Yes.
They fuse a lot of different components of the comic books into one, full story, and it works. And it's such a good episode. It's a really, really good episode. Probably the best one in the series so far, besides number one. But number one is just because it's nostalgia,
Yeah, it's kind of like bringing you back, drawing you into the show, making you care about the characters again, and you kind of feel like, hey, we're back where we were back in the 90s. This is where you left off.
Yes, it sets the stage, which is
really
good. I now I see, and hopefully after this episode we can get the meat and potatoes, because this one felt like the true meat and potatoes. The other ones, the first episode was that delicious appetizer that comes in, and you're like, yum 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 yum. And then the second one was the just like, oh, like there is a you know an extra like fried food that you ordered, the one with Madeline, and then there's like,
And
okay,
like sometimes it settles well, sometimes it doesn't settle so
yeah,
well. You know?
exactly. You're like, okay, I shouldn't have that, fried cucumber, or fried, chicken fingers or whatever. But then they're like, oh yeah, you know what? Let's have something to clear the palate. I'm gonna have like a soda, and that was the, you know, Jubilee episode. Just like, oh yeah, like just a palate cleanser type of thing, you know. And now we're at the main course,
Oh God.
and you have to go watch it. So until then,
Okay,
let's
so
go.
everybody do your homework like I have to do. So catch up. Catch up. If you have Disney Plus, go ahead and catch up with X-Men 97 because this is something we're gonna keep talking about. Because this is something that like I watched growing up, did not understand half of it.
I could tell.
Congratulations!
Yay! Nice.
Congratulations. Crystal has just finished her taxes, so we can go out for brunch tomorrow. But yes, if you have not started it, watch it now. So you kind of will see the anger and the frustration that we are feeling. And it is going to be a sloth weekend. Yes, it is going to be a sloth weekend. The snuggle is ready to
The
hang.
snuggle is ready. Tomorrow we're gonna meet and snuggle.
So cute.
Last year we were a knot. Today we're snuggles.
Yes.
Maybe we should all wear snuggies.
Oh my gosh, we should have bought snuggies.
We actually own one. My wife owns one.
So you guys are ready. I do not have anything snuggy.
But it's gonna
Snuggie.
be cold, so long as you're snugged up, like get cozy, you should be fine.
You good. You good.
Yeah.
Well, yes, your homework, guys, just like mine, it is to be up to date with X-Men 97 because we're going to be talking drama. And I do want to hear your points of view with it because honestly, Max's spouse and I have been just calling each other, bagging on the show. So please do and watch it so you can join us in this conversation. I don't know much about X-Men. What I knew was pretty much what I watched growing up. I have not read the comics. So that's why I'm really happy to have Mighty Max here to kind of fill in the gaps and help me understand some of the stuff because it's a mess. It's a mess.
Yeah.
And they literally were running like 3 storylines at the same time for for the past few episodes. I'm kind of glad they're focusing on one now. And it looks like it's gonna hurt my heart and it's gonna make me cry.
I
And
looked
it's
up.
focusing on some of my favorite characters.
I looked at my wife because, okay, again, my wife has never watched X-Men at all. Never read X-Men. You at least watched it during the '90s original run. She didn't, and immediately she's like, "Rogue Gambit, Rogue Gambit." Yep, that's that. Like, she's like, "Yep, that's it. It just makes sense. It's the world." Like I am new to this, and I have the same response that you did 20 years ago.
Yes, you're like, this ship is built. This ship is best ship.
Yeah,
This ship is my favorite ship.
yeah, and then so that was her too. It's just like, okay, got
I
it.
will take care of this ship.
Yeah, like I will take care of this ship. And at yesterday, she was like, I am going to after the show. She's like, I'm going to play Animal Crossing to dissociate.
I'm like, I don't. Okay, I like our beautiful ship is running into like an iceberg.
A manly iceberg.
I in the movies and in the actually X-Men Evolution, the way that they designed and drew Magneto was actually pretty hot. And here he has this evil face. It's something about his face that's just not like I can't see him in a romantic setting. Like when will he have like soft gaze? It's always just like angry gaze.
X-Men Evolution Magneto. Oh yeah. I remember that.
See, pull him up, put it over here. He didn't look bad. Honestly, everybody in X-Men Evolution looked really good.
He has the same type of illustration type as what's it called? Jackie Chan Adventures.
Mhm.
You know?
Similar, very similar.
So I'll pull it up right now.
Let's see. Max is bringing it up. because I feel like this is one of the worst renditions of Magneto we've gotten.
No,
Plus,
it's not. I actually like it. It's not
look,
bad.
but no, find the animated drawing because he looked good. Like even the haircut is so cute. It's like so boy band. His boy
Yeah.
band Magneto there, and
But
like
then
that was
again,
worth
to its
it.
effect, everybody kind of looked really
Oh, see
good.
there you go. See that it's a little shaky, but even shaky looks great. Boy band Magneto is best Magneto. Like I would see Rogue falling for that, but Rogue falling for like literally go down. It literally looked like that mole man in the bottom.
No,
It looked like that. Like she's falling for that guy.
like Mastermind.
Yes. No,
Dun-
no, just no.
Well, in here, these are honestly one of my favorite looks for X-Men. I really wish that the Marvel Legends would actually release these as is. That'd be so dope. I will buy all of them.
I love Kitty's little collar. Very cute.
Yeah, and I love. I think this is my favorite rendition of Jean. The green, like just I don't know. It's very nice. I like it. I like it a lot. But anyways,
Nightcrawler too. Oh, that Nightcrawler had like the best voice.
oh yes, it is so
Better.
sweet. Nightcrawler's also in this episode, which is great. So go watch it. Okay. Goodbye, everybody. Well, I will see you again next week.
All right, guys. So go ahead and do your homework. I will do mine. We'll chat more X-Men next week and whatever else comes up next week. Thanks again for watching. And thank you for joining us, even though I was running a little bit late. Thank you, Mighty Max, for holding down the fort and even giving us some extra bonus. Please do not put that to your forehead. That is unsafe. And have a great weekend, everybody. And if you do go to the Frog Town prom, do share your photos. I am very curious. If you do go to the Rose Bowl, let us know what you find. And I really hope that the rain does not catch any of you guys out there. Have a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you next
Don't forget to subscribe.
Thursday. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Mighty Max Toys. He's working on some stuff. So keep an eye on whatever he's doing. And you can follow me in at course to like and subscribe.
Absolutely. So see you guys. Tomorrow is a very special celebration, so we will keep updated on the social. There's a lot going on. Beast Madness is maybe over, but Beast Madness celebration has just begun. Bye.